with this we come to the next session of this evening, and this session brings together a tourist and a foreign tour operator and a service provider who doubles up as a government mouthpiece. So may I, before we begin this session, may I extend this invitation to Martin, who is a tour operator and a foreign tour operator who comes in as a buyer at this travel mart, having traveled long. Please come, Martin. Having traveled long and having traveled long from Delhi to Lucknow and then Lucknow to this place, and reaching in Gorakhpur at about 4 in the morning, having slept for 2 hours, but still he was so interested that he said, no, I want to do a session today itself. And then may I extend this invite, an invite to Mr. Ravi Ranjan, who is the Managing Director of UP State Tourism Development Corporation, that takes care of all the profit-making units of the government all around Uttar Pradesh. So you see all these Rahi bungalows, you see the cruises that are there on the rivers, and all that business part of the government is done by UPSTDC. So of course we have known that UP is a great destination. So before I go to Ravi to take his inputs, let us first hear from a foreign traveler, Martin. So Martin, now you have to reverse your role and you don't have to think that you are a tour operator. First of all, you have to think that you are a foreign tourist visiting India and visiting Uttar Pradesh. And then in the second stage, I will make you a tour operator. So in first stage, my question to you is that as a foreign tourist coming to India, when did you first come to India? And how did you first come to or heard about, how did you hear about UP in the first place, and which was the place where you went first?
Namaskaram, Kote Pranam. Thank you for your question. Thank you for possibility to share my experience with India, with Bharat. So actually my first experience with India was quite crazy, to be honest, in that sense, because I was now I'm not so old, but I was quite more young in that period of time. So my childhood started with, let's say, knowledge of Sanatana Dharma. I was learning Jyotish Veda, Ayurveda, Hatha Yoga, and let's say reading about saints, about Hindu saints, about tradition, about the culture, the richness of the culture. So, and then I started to practice meditation and that some kind of stuff. And what I mentioned, that first meeting with India was quite crazy because I went straight to Kumbh Mela. It was, I don't remember which year, 2015, I think, that Kumbh Mela, which was near the Nasik, it was in Nasik. So, and that period I didn't see much of India because, you know, Kumbh Mela is very specific event, let's say holy event. And then I started to understand I want to see more India about this culture, about this friendliness, about this livingness. So, and I started to explore more, like Himalayas, like Chardham Yatra, Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath, Badrinath, and all that places. And the last places which we visited, of course, one of my favorite deities is Shiva. We went to the Varanasi, and we went to the Ayodhya before was new temple inaugurated. And of course, Uttar Pradesh is the beautiful place because in one place is kept so many things. You can visit birthplace of Krishna where he, let's say, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and we can see where he was born, yeah, in Mathura. We can see Vrindavan where he played his Leelas, We can see Varanasi, best friend of Shiva. No, we say in our country that Shiva and Krishna is the best friends. So we can enjoy the Varanasi, the oldest city on the earth, which is, and this is actually the beauty of Hindu nation, that Hindu nation have kept this knowledge, the Sanatana Dharma, because Sanatana Dharma is not only the Hindu, it's eternal. It's not only Hindu Sanatana Dharma. We can say Latvians, Russians, everybody is in Sanatana Dharma, but Hindu culture have kept this knowledge and shared this knowledge and showed this knowledge through the temples, through the teachings, through this simpleness, humbleness, and full of love and happiness. And so Uttar Pradesh is so full of that. So Varanasi, then you can see the Lord Buddha place, Sarnath, everything is around. Then the second best friend, or we cannot decide who is the best friend of Krishna, Shiva or Rama, so you can see the Ayodhya. So for perspective of tourist, so I enjoy life here because in places where I live, it's not so liveness. There you come, you see a dog on the street, a cow on the street, you can have a chai on the street. This is so beautiful. And at the same time, you can see this ancient knowledge also lived on the streets and lived in the temples and all the culture around. And so what I wanted to share with people, how to live life, because Indians know how to celebrate life. We can see that the celebration in India is every time happening. We have that Purnima, this Purnima, that festival, this festival. So that's why I understand I want to share with people that. So we made a grace travel. Grace travel means to experience something more beyond that this body, that I am something more. Not only this body, not only these emotions, not only this mind. And India shows it beautifully. So that's why Grace Travel, we plan to do pilgrimages not only in India, also in the Russia, and the Europe and different places. But to be honest, the most top place where you can feel your higher self is, of course, Bharat, the ancient Bharat, the India. So that's why the Grace Travel, to just have people to take them out from their daily lives. Because also we practice, when I was in 2015 initiated in Kriya Yoga lineage. So I'm practicing the Atma Kriya Yoga, and my Guruji is Paramhamsa Vishwananda. So, and what I feel when I'm teaching the Kriyas to the people in the West, to absorb this knowledge, it's more easy when they come to environment of India. There is a lot of challenges also happening, on the roads, for example, to Chardham road, or even busy Varanasi streets, or full temples. But this is also the beauty, and so I take them out of the environment and bring this to this place for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they can experience more themselves and experience India and Uttar Pradesh.
So I think your knowledge about the Sanatan Dharma that we as Indians are starting to know now is much above that. And the kind of yogas, the asanas, the scriptures, the mythology and history that you are talking about is actually reflecting that how beautiful India is and how important Uttar Pradesh in all that context is. So great to learn for us as tour operators, us as stakeholders, that there's so much knowledge abroad which we as business persons can bank on. Also, there is a warning for the tour operators sitting here and watching us live today, that you have to gear up, pull up your socks and match the knowledge that the foreigners have today about the Sanatana Dharma, and be at least close to that kind of a knowledge to be able to cater to them. So which is very important. Now coming to Ravi, that Ravi heads the department, the department's Uttar Pradesh, the corporation which takes care of all the accommodation units, that takes care of all the cruises, the activities that are on in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So we would like to know from you that what are the new offers, because earlier, frankly telling you, as tour operators, if I go about, say, 10 years back,
Firstly, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the tour operators that have participated in this event organized by FICCI and the UP Tourism Department. So I have joined just like maybe 15 days back in the department, and I would like to mention it right away that the department and UP State Tourism Development Corporation in particular is very much keen and very much excited to take all of you along and to take the UP on the tourist map of the world, not just India. And for that we have tried to rework and re-strategize on various things so that the whole exercise becomes a really participative one and really and very memorable one for the tourists that are visiting to the state. So pointing out a few of the initiatives that we are going to take very soon and we have planned. So one of them is like the interaction with the tour operators. Particularly we have the tourism department and the UP State Tourism Department Corporation has got its own website wherein we are displaying the accommodation facilities and the logistics and transport facilities for the tourists. And also we are displaying some of the packages, but they are not enough. As you know, the tourism sector in UP has really grown in the past 5-10 years, and we have added so many new dimensions to it, as we saw in the policy presentation a few moments back, wherein we have got so many sectors, not just spiritual, but also like food and culture and adventure and natural tourism circuits. So there are so many circuits that we have added. We have so many more destinations that we have created. Ayodhya, Varanasi, they have been remodeled and refashioned, keeping in mind the virasat and the adhunikta. We have created a balance there. And there are so many more destinations that are really, they want to come up on the map of the, tourism map of the country. And they have really, so many fantastic things to offer to the tourists. So we want to create, those destinations also and bring them in the tour packages that we are offering. We would like to sit with the tour operators throughout the, country, and events like this give us a really good platform to deliberate with them and come up with some customizable tour packages for the tourists. We are willing to address specific and special needs of the tourists, like to address the needs of elderly tourists, for example, the women tourists, the students, the younger generation. They want to have specific kind of experiences in our destinations. So those kind of requirements, we are willing to sit down and work on that. So that is one of the major things that I would like to share with the audience here. And also we are going to integrate all the services that we are providing on the portal of UPSTDC. So right now we have a little fragmented approach that has been taken, but we need to integrate. For example, if a tourist visits the website of UPSTDC and he wants to visit a destination, so he or she is able to also find the accommodation and also the solution for the transport and the guide and everything. So we are trying to provide a package there at one-stop solution at the website. So we are working towards that, and again we are trying to make that the whole navigation exercise very simple, so that sitting at home in their own comfort, they can plan every bit of their itinerary and have a very memorable experience. In a very short while, we'll have Mahakumbh in Prayagraj, and we have planned specific things around the that main event. So in that we have been making tent city there in the Kumbh. So for the national and the international tourists, we'll be providing them experience to be immersed in that aura and atmosphere of Kumbh. In 10 cities, we are also planning for joy rides and adventure tourism, woven around the Kumbh experience. Just now we had a very fantastic presentation with respect to Prayagraj, wherein not just the spiritual aspect of the city, but also the lesser known aspects of the heritage, the culture, the food. So those aspects we are going to cater to the tourists. We are also coming up with some innovative concepts like sleeping pods, which are quickly catching up nowadays. So we are also trying to have those kind of packages on offer for the tourists. So these are the newer dimensions that we would like to add, and and other innovative ideas also we would like to have from the audience and tour operations and associations otherwise. In terms of the accommodation that we have on offer for the tourists, so there are more than 30 hotels managed by UP State Tourism Development Corporation in the state. We have taken a massive exercise on renovating them and creating some good comfortable facilities for the tourists. That's in process in Prayagraj, in Varanasi, keeping in mind the Kumbh influx that we are going to have. We have created really good facilities at Kushinagar and in Chitrakoot. We are also contemplating on having public-private partnerships in near future, wherein the UP State Tourism Development Corporation will be partnering with the probable partners and will create a good facility for the tourists. We have done that in our Haridwar property in Bhagirathi, so that is already there in offer. So in terms of the infrastructure also, UP State Tourism Development Corporation has planned that in the coming 5 to 10 years we are going to offer the tourists a very attractive and memorable stay. So in terms of the softer parts of the hospitality, we have also planned things on that. We are collaborating with the associations, hotel associations. We are also collaborating with the training institutes like Indian Institute of Hotel Management and other such reputed institutes, so that the hospitality, softer aspects of the hospitality are also taken care of, so that the tourists have a good experience overall. So in a nutshell, I would like to share that we have a really comprehensive vision under the dynamic leadership of our Chief Minister, and we would like to give them, the tourists, a really memorable experience. And I'm sure the kind of potential UP has, we have a lot of work to do, but we are geared for it. Thank you.
Well, I must confess that in the last 7 to 8 years, things have really improved with the corporation as well. Having experienced corporation units earlier and experiencing it now, there's a huge drastic change. So operators can think of collaborating with the corporation for their demand for destinations like Ayodhya and other places. I'm sure that Mr. Ravi Ranjan will be forthcoming in making some kind of a portal, as he's talking about, where they can give a login to the, like all the operators have a login with the Taj Group or the Marriott. We can log in and we get our special rates, discounted rates. So it can be a game changer for all of us, where we can put in at least our budget movements into their properties, which are much economical. And mind you, all the properties of UPSTDCs is spread across the state are at the most beautiful locations that you can have. So there used to be a property of theirs which they have collaborated with a private player just by the side of the lake. When you go out, you can see the Marriott Hotel, which is now the Courtyard by Marriott, which is actually their property, and they have collaborated with a private player under one of their schemes, and the property is now the Marriott Hotel. Similarly, you see the properties in Ayodhya, which is near the Ghat, and probably you have 2 properties there. Similar is the condition, or the properties are near railway stations, so which is very convenient for the operators. Many cruises also they are bringing in the city of Varanasi, Ayodhya, and Prayagraj now, of course, they are doing with a kind of a huge activity that is going on in Prayagraj because of the approaching Mahakumbh. So coming back to you, Martin, now taking you as a tour operator who's operating tours into state of Uttar Pradesh. Primarily, you are operating, I think, tours to Varanasi, if I'm not wrong, because of the spiritual angle of the market that you cater to and your specialization in the state of UP. Ayodhya now will be another area of interest to you, and similar would be Prayagraj and Chitrakoot, other places. So what, as a tour operator, you see one or two things that you can spell out to the government, of course to the government, to improve or do, which can enhance the overall experience of the tourist groups or FITs that you are bringing in our state of UP. You are a traveler yourself. You've been traveling. Of course, things have improved. They have improved drastically. You must have realized from when you first came, I think 2014, you said you came to Varanasi first. And since 2014, now if you see, there's a drastic change. But what are those one, two, 3 points that you want to stress upon? Because we have powerful people sitting in this room. So I call that table a powerful power table. So Mr. Ravi Ranjan was also sitting there, and Mr. Prakhar Mishra and Ms. Isha Priya. All these are government mouthpieces and doers. They are go-getters. So you can always spell out those few things that you want to change and which will enhance the experience of the tourists coming to UP through you.
Thank you for your question. I will try to answer maybe not one, maybe as you expected, or because to be honest, the travels, the pilgrimages to India, what we love as also the organizers, and the sense of the spiritual growth of people that you cannot predict much in India, you know. It's like 5 minutes Indian time, it's like Indian time, you know. You know this joke. So that's why, of course, sometimes I have problems when foreigners come and Western people come. My approach is to show as much Sanatana Dharma possible, as much temples as possible. But let's say the people get, how to say, cooked up very quickly after too many temples. So, and then of course they need some comfort and something, yeah, that something is in time. Because in that sense, from my perspective, if it is not in time, sometimes it's good because that spiritual processes is happening. As we say sometimes jokes from Western that in India people think they are eternal. So that's why to hurry, no? But in Christianity we say like you have only one time, one life. So everyone is hurry. So that's why when I bring people from West to India, there is this feeling of not hurry, and then and it's something good actually. But so for perspective, as you asked, from 2000, I don't know, 15 of Kumbh Mela and now 2024, I think the most important is to keep alive Sanatana Dharma, to keep alive knowledge. Because when I was in Riga, my hometown Latvia, it's the Baltic states in Europe, in the Baltic states in Baltic Sea, I love Indian food. And so I was going to the local cafe where the Indian people are working, and I was talking with them about Sanatana Dharma, about Hinduism, and I was, how to say in English, surprised that they themselves don't know much what you mentioned before about their culture sometimes. So in the perspective of Kali Yuga and that life is not stable nowadays, we all know what is happening in the world, yeah. So my Guruji says that in the sense of Bhuloka, Bhudevi, Mother Earth, India is the heart. So it means it's most open, most loving, And this should be kept in all levels. Showing the government, I think, needs to show, as today in the entrance speech, Mataji told that diversity in unity. So this is the most beautiful thing in India. So many traditions are there, so many, in good sense, sects are there. Such a huge events like Kumbh Mela is happening. And even, for example, in Kumbh Mela, when was before I came here, when my Guruji came to Kumbh Mela, he's officially from Vaishnava tradition, Sri Sampradaya, Ramanuja Acharya Sampradaya. So, but he didn't have at that time in Akhara, so he didn't have his tent. So he joined Babaji from the Shaivite tradition, and they bath together. And BBC showed that in the movie, how the Shaivites and Vaishnavas are bathing together. So this is the most beautiful thing as the India, as the Bharat, of the heart chakra of the Bhudevi, Bhuloka, to show this love. And of course, if it's possible for the Westerners, when they have cooked up of temples and all this diversity, to give some comfort, if possible, some let's say, how to say, not in time things, you know, if I can say a little bit humbly about that. But from the spiritual perspective, also, when things is not happening in time, it's good for the patience of people who come to not to have comfort, but to have, you know, darshans of the holy places. As we know, to go to holy places, you need to have some challenges, and India gives also sometimes that to have some joke about that. So I cannot say much from the government level what should be changed. India is a very special place on earth, so let's keep it alive. Just keep going, showing it to another world, that how beautiful you are, how beautiful is the culture, and keep that, and yeah, elevate yourself even more, to show it more, to share it more, because Earth and Bhudevi and needs it, needs love, needs knowledge, needs wisdom, needs care.
So it's wonderful, you know, you can see the smile on the powerful faces because you appreciated the government and all their efforts. So they are very happy that everything is fine in India. But what in crux he meant to say, that there are certain comforts which are not a part of luxury, but which have now become necessity when people of especially the Western origin are visiting the temples in India or places in India. And it is a similar thing for us as domestic tourists as well, which is important to give. And probably government of UP is paying attention to that aspect also. I don't know if you have seen Ayodhya already, or you are going to Ayodhya after this, but when you go to Ayodhya and see the corridor, you can experience what's coming up, you know, the kind of places that they have made, the kind of corridors that they have, how they have minutely kept in mind all the details for the summers, for the winters. In the winters, I was so happy to see the heaters being placed on the road for the pilgrims and tourists to walk. And now I have heard that they have put carpets on the floor, so that the floor people walk barefoot, and so the floor is very hot. So to counter that, they have kept those carpets. They are putting in mist fans for the people when they are queuing. So all these things, but then India is also about numbers, we need to realize. So as Mr. Awasthi was talking this morning, Tirupati is getting about 30 to 40 million tourists, and which is much more already than what Mecca and what the Vatican is getting. So there are certain challenges that we do face, but the government on that front also is paying attention to all those aspects. So I must assure you, as a foreign tour operator, as a tourist yourself, that you will see these changes gradually taking place, and now you can be more comfortable bringing in groups and FITs into the state of Uttar Pradesh, and the government is now inclusive and and accessible, which is the biggest thing for a tour operator or a trade partner. You can access these people, you can talk to these people, you can discuss with these people, and those things do take shape. So now just to give you a brief, I would once again want Mr. Ravi Ranjan to repeat about the facilities that are coming up in the Mahakumbh 2025. So just a quick thing, what about the tents and how does one book the tents? What will be the private players, you're leasing out the lands? A bit about that.
So Mahakumbh is going to be a great opportunity for for the state to showcase its own heritage. So the tourism department has planned on multiple fronts, to welcome the pilgrims and the tourists all together. So from UPSTDC, we have planned a host of activities there. Firstly, we are going to create the tent city infrastructure in the Mahakumbh area, wherein I think close to around 2,000 tents will be erected, and there are 10 blocks which will be decided very soon in coordination with the Mela Authority, which is the organizing administration of the Mela. So we'll have 10 blocks where these tent city will be there, and this inventory will be available online. We have partnered with Make My Trip and entities like that, so that it is readily available online to the tourists domestically and internationally, wherein they get fair rates and they have a good opportunity to spend time there and experience the Mahakumbh. Then we have planned some tour packages and joy rides around the Kumbh, the whole event. Then there are the food and media centers that we have planned in and around the whole Mela area. Accordingly, we have also taken cognizance of the new technologies that have come up recently. For example, AR, VR facilities and some kind of experiences that we are going to create for the pilgrims and the tourists that will be visiting Kumbh. So those solutions will also be there. We are also partnering with the local and the private players who will be interested in creating some good luxurious facilities for the tourists who will be visiting Kumbh. So we'll have those kind of collaborations, and we can also create spaces for them, wherein we can have solutions like sleeping pods and movable restaurants and something like that. So we are open to newer ideas, some innovative concepts. We are also focusing on creating some water sports opportunities around the Kumbh time. So these are the few of the things that are currently on the table, and the deliberations are going on. We are open to even newer suggestions and newer ideas that might be more suitable for the tourists and the pilgrims for making the whole experience memorable. Thank you.
So thank you very much to my panelists for great insights from you, and hopefully we are looking forward to more visits focusing on Sanatan Dharma in the state of UP, and do include Ayodhya and Chitrakoot as well, apart from Varanasi and many other places. Prayagraj, of course, as Ravi pointed out, a lot of activities going on, so you can think of Mahakumbh to bring your groups and FITs, promote Mahakumbh in your country and the markets that you cater to. Whatever inputs you need, the government is there, the corporation is there, and host of tour operators that are at your disposal. There's another day to go where you can talk and meet everybody and discuss how you can craft your programs for the upcoming Kumbh. So we're looking forward to great days of tourism for the state of UP, and of course a fabulous Mahakumbh coming up in 2025. So thank you very much, Ravi, and thank you, Martin. इको टूरिज्म पे कर हाँ करिए कोई क्वेश्चन वैसे कर क्वेश्चन आंसर आइए हाँ चलिए So, may I reintroduce you to Mr. Prakhar Mishra, who is the Director Tourism. And the best part of his being in tourism is that he comes from the forest services and is with tourism due to the policy which is called the Eco-Tourism Board basically that was formed to bridge the problems of between the forest and the tourism. So this is an ongoing tussle which continued, and as tour operator I have personally experienced this tussle, and we have also spoken about it in the past, that there was a time when forest used to think the best way to protect forest is to close the forest for people. Let them not come and everything gets protected. Similar is the case with the departments like Archaeological Survey of India or the State Archaeology to shut the monuments, and that's the way to conserve. But which was realized that no, this is not true, it is wrong. So we are also living in a social ecosystem where we need to see, visit and appreciate and gain knowledge about it. So there is an element of curiosity. And they were also right as forest people, because there was a lot of poaching activity and there was a lot of problems. There was no system in place till some time, and things were not in good shape. So it was best to keep the forest shut to protect the animals and the flora and the fauna there. But then it was realized that no, it is not true. So a bridge was formed in the state of UP, which came up as an eco-tourism board to bridge this gap, take the tourists there and still make tourists responsible. So today we are in an era of sustainability. We are in an era, we cannot think of operating tours, at least in the inbound market. People do ask for your sustainability practice before committing a tour with a tour operator of India. And more so when we are talking about tours to ecological zones. So when this board was built, Mr. Prakhar Mishra was chosen to be sent to tourism and to give his inputs and knowledge of his expert area in forestry to the tourism, and similarly take the points of tourism back to his home cadre, which was the forest services. So a lot of new developments in that area have been done. So I would request Prakhar to quickly elaborate on what are the new areas that UP as a state has done in terms of forest with tourists in mind.
So good afternoon everyone. So briefly addressing the problem of conservation and where does exactly tourism lie when we talk about ecotourism, as rightly said by Prateek Hira ji, you see conservation cannot take place in silos where people are not, the stakeholders are not really getting benefited out of the forest, and still we dream of conserving the forest. So this problem has been understood time and again, and there has been a specific focus on sustainable community driven tourism that has very low carbon footprint and has minimal impact on the ecosystem. So that's the kind of tourism that that's the kind of ecotourism that we are developing in UP. We have been practicing this kind of tourism only. So I would not like to take the names, but you see, if you look at the more famous or infamous tiger reserves in UP, those either tell you that you are going to visit the forest and you are going to in a guaranteed manner you are going to see the tiger, wherein you would be seeing tigers. But I'm sure that those tigers are not like those wild tigers that you would be astonished to see. So there's no point in seeing tigers like dogs. And on the other hand, you have tiger reserves wherein there are a lot of resorts and hotels that come by within the eco-sensitive zone of the tiger reserve, and they are basically a wedding destination and no more a pristine natural forest that one really enjoys or embraces the nature he or she visits the place. So quite contrary to these two popular models of ecotourism, the state of UP is developing its own model of ecotourism that's community led. The model that takes care of the carrying capacity of the forest and develops a kind of tourism that's quite centric towards animal. So you see, if we look at the very conception of national park or sanctuary, the basic idea behind establishing a national park or sanctuary is to provide an area where animals can live and roam freely. So to be honest, anthropogenic influences are least welcome there. So those areas are supposed to be habitats of the animal. Human beings are supposed to get inside the forest very silently, be a mute spectator of the nature, embrace the nature in its raw form and come back from there. So that's the beauty of the natural forest within UP. So if we look at what has been done specifically to promote this kind of tourism, so we have organized lot of familiarization trips of tour operators to Dudhwa Tiger Reserve and Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. And trust me, whenever I talk back to them, they always give this response that after visiting these tiger reserves, they have actually understood what a pristine natural environment is. So whenever you guys get time, do visit these places. Tiger sighting you will definitely get, but don't visit these places to get a sighting of the tiger. You must visit forests to embrace the nature and get immersed into that raw natural form of the trees and forest. So that's what UP has in terms of offering in ecotourism. And you see, more important than Dudhwa and Pilibhit Tiger Reserve, there is diversity of the ecosystems. So if we travel from northern end of the Uttar Pradesh, that's adjoining Nepal, that's the Tarai belt, that has lush green forests that have quite a lot of canopy density. Say canopy density is more than 80-90%. So you will have thick sal and sagon forests, and those would be lush green kind of forests where there would be very less visibility. All you would see is that you are surrounded by these huge trees, and occasionally you might get to see these birds or carnivores or herbivores. Traveling a bit more southern side on the middle strata of the Uttar Pradesh, that's the plain area. So there are a lot of water bodies that have been declared as bird sanctuaries. So these bird sanctuaries are visited by migratory birds, especially in the winter season. So these bird sanctuaries are spread from west to east. To name a few, there is Lak Bahosi Bird Sanctuary in Kannauj, then there is Samaspur Bird Sanctuary in Raebareli. Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary is between Lucknow to Kanpur, just on the highway. Then there is Bakhira Sanctuary in Basti. Then there is Surha Tal, that's in Balia. So all of these are in the middle part of the plain area of the UP. Then if we travel a bit more southern side, that's on the Vindhyan side, that's Mirzapur and Sonbhadra district. These have typical tropical deciduous forest. So these have scanty vegetation, you have lot of visibility, there are scanty trees, and the entire ecosystem converts into a very green area during the rainy season. And as time passes by, you will see a very scanty vegetation. So in these areas, you can have a sighting of jackal, blackbuck, even leopards are sighted there. These have their own importance. One of the oldest fossils have been found in the Sonbhadra region, that's in the Salkhan Fossil Park. That's a part of Kamur Wildlife Sanctuary. Similarly, on the southern side, we have the Bundelkhand region. That again has these kind of vegetations only, but there are a lot of sanctuaries there that where you can sight these vultures. So there's a beautiful sanctuary in Devgarh, Mahavir Swami Wildlife Sanctuary, and that's one of those places where you can sight those rarely sighted vultures. I'm sure from 20-25 years ago, sighting vulture used to be a very common sign. But due to diclofenac and because of a lot of other anthropogenic reasons, vultures are gradually extincting. So that way, Mahavir Swami Wildlife Sanctuary in Devgarh is a pleasure visiting place. You can get to see those vultures that you might not have seen in past couple of years. Similarly, this Ranipur Tiger Reserve that's coming in Chitrakoot, that's again a beautiful forest, again the deciduous one, which is being visited by tigers. It's adjoining to Panna Tiger Reserve. Due to Ken-Betwa linkage, the core area of Panna Tiger Reserve is getting submerged. And because of this submergence, the tigers from this Panna Tiger Reserve are migrating to Ranipur. And thereby this Ranipur Tiger Reserve has been developed. And it's again a beautiful site. You can see a lot of waterfalls there. You can see forest. You can get to see good number of animals. Now, if we look at the ecotourism development that's being focused by UP Tourism, so as I earlier said that we are emphasizing on community-driven and sustainably developed ecotourism. So that way we have these good number of homestays that have very low impact on the forest and the ecosystem that are coming by in the vicinity of forest. So to name a few, if we look at the Chambal Wildlife Sanctuary, that's famous for the gharials there. We have a property that's Mela Kothi, that's readaptive usage of the heritage property that was already there. And there is a good interest of inbound tourists in these areas. It's 1 hour drive from Taj Mahal. So I would urge you all to definitely visit the place and try to include it into the itinerary. It gives a very refreshing kind of change to the inbound tourist, especially when they come to Agra, because that's most visited place. So if we look at the least possible deviation from the Golden Triangle, Chambal Wildlife Sanctuary is definitely the place that's must visit. You will definitely sight a lot of gharials and crocodile in the pristine environment of Chambal. Needless to mention that Chambal is the cleanest river in the country. So Chambal river is least polluted. There is no industrial area that's nearby those river, and the Chambal, the water of this river is completely potable. So you'll have this beautiful clean river of Chambal that is a habitat of gharial, crocodiles and lot of migratory birds. Similarly, in Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, we have got lot of homestays that are coming up, and these homestays offer a very excellent kind of refuge from your daily mundane life. So to name a few, we have Jagir Manor, we have Camp Tiger Lily that has recently come up. Then there are a couple of other homestays in the Dudhwa and Pilibhit region. There is Earth Homestay by Ms. Aarti Shah that's inside the rural area of Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. So there is this good synchronization of the community in development of these homestays. So these homestays have the local food being served by the local people. They have the cultural performance of the local people. Then these homestays are since owned by the local people, so they have lot of respect for the forest because they have been residing in these areas nearby forest for decades. And they know how to not only visit the forest without causing least disturbance to the animals, they will also share their traditional wisdom of the flora and fauna present there. Once you visit the forest with these natural guides, you will understand that visiting the forest is not only about sighting these mega carnivores. It's more about understanding that flora and fauna that's there, and you'll see marvelous kind of knowledge that's being possessed by these local inhabitants of the area. Now, if we talk about the Sonbhadra region, that's in the Vindhyan part where this Kamur Wildlife Sanctuary and all is there. That's around 2-3 hours drive from Varanasi. On the way is Chandoli district where there is Rajdari and Devdari waterfall. So these waterfalls again offer an excellent site of ecotourism. So we are again developing homestays there. Then we are also trying to develop the guest houses of Canal Department, the Irrigation Department, PWD Department. These dak bungalows have been lying unused for quite a lot of decades. So now we are taking back these guest houses from the parent department to the tourism, and we are keenly looking for investors who can invest and refurbish these guest houses. So as of now, we have 4 such guest houses in Sonbhadra region. So I would urge the hoteliers present here, if they are interested, they can get in touch with me and we can work out on how these properties can be developed.
So this is an interesting insight into the eco-tourism assets of Uttar Pradesh, and especially the new ones that you mentioned about the Amangarh and the Ranipur, which operators and stakeholders are still not very well aware of, and their only concentration or their over concentration, I would say, is towards Cobbett, which is becoming more of a picnic spot rather than a wildlife sanctuary. And as Prakhar rightly put, that Dudhwa or Pilibhit is still wild in wild. So you can call it that way. because you see the actual wildlife in a place which is actually wild still, because probably maybe lesser footfall, less development of hotels and guest houses. So that's a blessing in disguise that UP has for now, but you never know the kind of promotions that you are doing and the operators are doing, what happens tomorrow. My one question to you would be that you stressed on the wetlands and you stressed on the bird sanctuaries, but somehow we see that other states have taken a lead in projecting their bird sanctuaries. It's a huge niche market of bird watchers. There is a special bird watchers festival which happens in the UK every year, and it only concentrates on bird watching. So what is UP doing in because I'm sure the operators sitting here would want to take advantage, but the point is that they don't know about it. So what are the steps that you are taking in terms of disseminating that knowledge to the operators?
Yes, it's a beautiful question. So we'll talk about the bird sanctuaries in a while. Just to re-emphasize on the pristine beauty of Pilibhit and Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, in the VR zone, we have got 360-degree video shot of Pilibhit and Katarnia, and I would urge all of you to definitely have a view of these sites with this VR headset. So even if you are not able to go to these places, you can enjoy the pristine beauty, and then you can probably get a good idea of how good these forests are within the VR zone. Now talking about the bird sanctuaries, so if we talk about the famous bird sanctuaries that have migratory birds coming in, there is Okhla Bird Sanctuary is in Noida, then there is Surajpur Wetland in Greater Noida in Ghaziabad, then there is Lak Bahosi Bird Sanctuary and Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary. You see, the problem with these bird sanctuaries have been that these are not being visited by the birders as such. As a result, they have gradually converted into lovers' paradise. Now this is the challenge before us. So UP Tourism is quite clear on this problem, and to solve this problem, we have come up with a two-pronged strategy. The simple idea of developing these bird sanctuaries was to develop them as an educational cum recreational sites. So we are welcoming those tour operators that can develop such kind of curated tour packages targeted around students of either school or colleges, can take them to these bird sanctuaries, make their visit not only recreational but focus it on educational. UP Tourism is there to give all possible support on creating the educational content. UP Tourism is also willing to give the first few businesses in terms of buying these tour packages for the youth tourism clubs that we have established, so that the tour operator which is trying to get into this kind of a business of creating educational cum recreational tour packages for these bird sanctuaries, they will get an assured business from UP Tourism in terms of making site visit of our youth tourism club members. Simultaneously, UP Tourism is also willing to extend their support in terms of tying up with the private schools for organizing such kind of paid school trips to these places. Because at the end of the day, the niche market of birders is not a sustainable business for a tour operator. So the first prong of this two-pronged strategy is to focus on the educational cum recreational tours targeted around students of schools and colleges, where UP Tourism is willing to extend all possible support. The second prong is to make these bird sanctuaries famous around birders. So we were earlier not participating in these bird festivals of UK, but for the past 2 years, we have been participating in this birders fair in UK, and we take this stall space, and we would nudge all tour operators who are willing to create itineraries and tour packages around the bird sanctuaries in UP to take part in these bird fairs, and they can get the stall space within the stall space that UP Tourism takes. Apart from that, when it comes to educational content, we have a lot of educational content that we are willing to share with the interested tour operators. I would request such tour operators to definitely get in touch with me.
So this is called the hand-holding that UP does. So no other state gives you a kind of a pre-purchase of a package just to encourage the tour operators wanting to get into the ecotourism business and sell the ecotourism sites. But on behalf of the government, I would urge the tour operators that if they are holding your hand you should also hold their hand and try to publicize and popularize the ecotourism, not only ecotourism, but all the products that the state of UP has by coming to them for knowledge, getting the knowledge from their website. Their website is now a very knowledgeable website. Their brochures are all available by scanning QR code. You can get the PDF file. You can use it as you wish to. They have high resolution pictures that they can share with you. And as Mr. Mishra was talking about this morning, that if you are coming up with some kind of a brochure or a map, so they are ready to help you and come in and help you in
We'll
that.
help you in providing not only the educational content, we'll also help you design the brochure. We are keenly looking forward for tour operators who are enthusiastic and who can create tour packages around these bird sanctuaries. So that's something that we are keenly looking for, a collaboration with the tour operators.
So I think great insight by Mr. Prakhar Mishra, Director Tourism, and the man who's in charge of the Ecotourism Board presently. And Ecotourism Board, mind you, is being looked after by the Chief Minister himself. So there's no hanky-panky that any officer can do with it. So he's so committed and kind of focused about this particular domain of tourism in the state of UP. So I think with that we end this session. Thank you very much, Mr. Prakhar Mishra.